It is given that aerofoils are so designed that the speed of air, so we know that in case of aerofoil we are making an arrangement or a structure something like this, so that velocity of air on the upper side v1 is more than velocity on the lower side, so that there will be a net, so that pressure, let's say over here is P1 and over here is P2, so pressure on the downside will be more than that of pressure outside. So by using this pressure difference, we'll be create an upthrust on this object, so which we can use in case of working of an aeroplane. So it is like on the curved side the velocity is more, and the other side the value of velocity will be less. So this concept we will use. So we can say that if you are considering the this aerofoil, we are using it for lifting purpose, like in case of aeroplane, then we can say that on the top side it is more, and then the lower side, that will be correct. But it doesn't mean that always we should use it in this way. There is one more possibility, is that like we can use this aerofoil in the opposite direction, means we can keep it like this. Then velocity on the lower side will be more, and velocity on the upper side will be less. In this situation, net force is going to act in downward direction. So where we are going to use this? The practical application of this one will come in case of spoilers. Like you might have not having any idea about what a spoiler means. Like in case of cars, like in racing cars, you might be observed that there is a structure something like this. So if you are not getting an idea, I'll show exactly how this spoiler look like. So if you are considering a supercar, so I'm talking about this part. This is known as nothing but the spoiler part. Okay. And what is the purpose of this? So some people may think that this is for like giving some good look to the car, or some spotty look. It's not for that purposes. It is just kept in a reverse way. So if you are just observing the spoiler, it is something like this. It is just kept in the reverse way as that of in the purpose of aeroplane. So in aeroplane we are using it in in this aerofoil we are keeping it like this, but in spoiler we are keeping it like this. Now the concept over here is nothing but, if we are increasing the value of speed, so there is a speed of car, so there is a possibility that as the you might be observed that as the speed increases, because of difference in velocity on the upper side and lower side of car, that car also may experience some uplift. So if you are considering a car something like let's say this, and if you are increasing the flow velocity, so some amount of air is moving through the upper part, and some amount of air is moving in the upper lower part and upper part. And if the upper part, if the velocity is more due to the shape, so there will be an uplift which is acting in upward direction. So because of this car may lift from the floor, from the rod, if we are moving at a very high velocity. So if you want to keep the car on the track, then we need to exert force in the opposite direction. That's why we are connecting this spoiler in the, or we are connecting a aerofoil in the opposite structure, opposite way, so that it will over here this velocity will be more on the lower side and velocity will be less on the upper side. So net force will act in downward direction, which will keep the car in the ground. So that's why we are using this spoiler in case of racing cars. So it depends upon where the velocity is more. Got it? What I'm trying to say, that we can keep it in two way. We can keep it at like this, or we can keep it in like this. It depends upon for what application we are using. If you are using for aeroplane, then upper side will be something like this, means curved part. So it will be like velocity in the upper side will be more, pressure will be less on the upper side. But if you are using in a racing car, then we'll use this aerofoil something like this. It doesn't mean that aerofoil means always we are using for an aeroplane. And this something, a structure something like this, we call it as an aerofoil. So there we will keep it in the reverse way, so that downward the value of velocity will be more, and upside the value of velocity will be less. But as the question is given as aerofoil, they might be considering it is like for an for an purpose of aeroplane. So there the top side will be more as than of lower side. Hope so that you are getting what I am trying to say.